What's up, Ali Squad? So I know I haven't updated, but the second IUI failed, and then last month we did inseminate on the days that we were supposed to. When she hit peak, we inseminated on day 9 and day 10 because Odessa has a short cycle. So her cycle's from anywhere from 23 to 25 days. So her days for hitting peak is day 9 and day 10. Her high peak usually happens day 10. And her peak starts to happen on day 9. Sorry, my kids. So I had an issue with the fertility clinic because when the first time we did it, if we call, we have to wait till they call us back. So it's basically not on our timing. Even though the first time, because of the DNC, her peak and ovulation was off because the DNC caused her menstrual to act weird. But then the second month that we inseminated, even if we would have called on day 9, because day 9 was when the peak started at the nighttime at 10 o'clock at night. Day 9 is when the peak started, and it got stronger on day 10 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was at its highest on day 10 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We called them early that morning on day 10, and they scheduled an appointment for the next day. So Odessa didn't end up pregnant. And then, I was frustrated because $1,800 down the drain. And, I called the clinic because the first time the doctor had offered us, do you want to do it at home or do you want to do it here at the clinic? And then when I asked them, why don't you just sign over so we can do it ourselves in our own home? She said, no, you can't do that. But you offered it to us. So we found a donor, and we inseminated last month. And he's a pretty good donor. He has a lot of success he has multiple donations multiple kids. So I don't think that he's the problem because he's had a lot of successes. Dessy has gotten pregnant before we did the IUIs. Now, I'm questioning if the DNC could have caused any issues. They did, a sonogram. They checked everything. Supposedly, everything was fine. So then that brings up the question if the second IUI, because the second IUI, she began to bleed a lot. Not extremely excessively, it stopped in the same day. But she did have a clot. And I was questioning if they could have nicked something or done anything that could have disrupted the uterine lining. That's just, I know I'm overthinking, but that's just my thought in my head. Because if before we had the DNC and before we had the IUIs, she got pregnant with only one time of insemination, then what was the problem? Because the second time that I inseminated Odessa, it was on day 10, cycle day 10 at 12 o'clock midnight. And so I start to question that. We've done it on cycle day 9 and cycle day 10, and she still ended up pregnant. At first, I questioned, maybe it's because it's not live or, it doesn't live long. Now I'm questioning, did they do something that could have affected the balance of the uterus, everything that's going on in the uterus? Because now she didn't get pregnant last month, and we inseminated on cycle day 9 and cycle day 10, and nothing. So we are going to meet the donor Thursday, which is cycle day 9, and we will see what happens. And that's all we could do. And then, I asked Odessa because Odessa has pretty good health insurance. She has a Blue Cross Blue Shield. So they pay for everything. She met her deductibles already. So whenever she goes into the fertility clinic, everything is paid for. She doesn't have to pay for anything because the deductibles were met. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to think. And then, I feel frustrated because, last month, like, if that first pregnancy would have went through, we would have had a kid last month. And then, if the second one would have went through, we would have been having a kid in January. So I just had to get myself together because I started crying. It's frustrating. Odessa just turned 39. And, when I told the nurse, I was like, the reason that you have a 10% chance is because you're missing the time for insemination. Even if I would have called you on Sunday night, you still would have called me Monday morning for Tuesday. So you're missing her window. And I don't know, the nurse was a little bit rough this second time around. So I don't know. But I want to have Odessa do an appointment so they could do, I don't remember what it was. They check the uterine lining to see what's going on. And I want them to check it because I want to make sure that it hasn't been disrupted, because you can cause injury to the uterus. And then that can cause issues with you getting pregnant, because an egg is not going to stick if the uterus is disrupted, if like there's problems, and if it's not a healthy environment, the egg is not going to stick. I've read so much stuff that tells you like when the environment is not healthy. Like, I give you my example. I had endometriosis. Even though I ovulated every month, I still wouldn't get pregnant. Why? I had cancer and I had endometriosis. The environment was not healthy for the egg to stick. And so that's my thing. Like, the woman's body is so complex and so sensitive. Like, and then I think about her age and what if they injured something? So, I try not to. It's hard to just come on here and then be like, this. I try to share as much as I can when I'm in a good state of mind. Odessa is not as emotional as me. I'm the more emotional one, so it's harder for me. Like, I deal with it internally. I hurt. I guess I hurt, or I feel more emotions. She just is like, well, we're gonna try again. She gets frustrated, but she's not as emotional as me. But I will keep you guys updated. Like I said, we're gonna be inseminating on November 4th and see where that leads us. November 4th is day 9. So, and fresh specimen is supposed to last anywhere from 3 to 7 days. So let's see what happens. That is the only open available spot that we have, because dessy is working 2 jobs. I'm going through a whole bunch of stuff. I got to see my urologist on the 12th. I've been having like a lot of pains, like a lot of back pains. If I stand for more than 5 minutes, I'm in pain. Like if I sit the wrong way in the car, I'm in pain. So sometimes like when I stand up, I'll get stuck and then I have to like try to stand up slowly, and that hurts me. So I'm still struggling with my sleep. So I was telling dessy today, like, I don't understand how I had a hysterectomy and now I'm having all these other issues, like back pain and, like trying to stand up. And I had surgery. My first surgery was a year ago. And my second surgery is going on a year in this month. So I'm trying to understand. Then chemo could have did a lot to my body. So just dealing with a lot and trying to take it all in. So I will keep you guys updated. Thank you guys for watching. And yes, be patient. Thank you. One thing I forgot to mention was when the second IUI failed, I called and I acted like I was dessy. And I was telling her, the reason you have a 10% success rate is because You're missing the window. And I'm pretty sure Dessy's not the only one that they've done this to. So then they call us back and she was like, oh, okay, you know, we can schedule it for that day when you call us or right away. So why couldn't you do that before? Why couldn't you do that before? This is a money-making business. They don't care about your losses. They don't care. You know, it's hard. It's very rare to find a place that is sensitive to your needs. When I met this woman, and she was supposed to be one of the best, it was like nonchalant. Like her bedside manners were horrible because you see this happen every day or you've been through other people, but not everybody's story is the same. And even if their story was the same, treat them and validate their emotions and their feelings. And so that's what frustrated me about this clinic. She was supposed to be the best, but she made it seem like, oh, yeah, it's probably her, you know, because you're getting older and this is that. I've seen women get pregnant at 40 and have a healthy child. Instead of saying, we're going to do everything we possibly can to help you, to make sure that things are successful and be sympathetic to the things that we've been going through, it was just like horrible bedside manners. And Dessy was like, you know what? We tried it. We're going to try a regular donor with fresh specimen that is going to last us longer. So, you know, that's where we're at now. And, you know, it frustrated me that if she could have made the appointment early, we had called her early. I made an example before, but I think Odessa had hit peak at day 9, late Saturday night. And on Sunday, around 3 in the afternoon, her peak was high. And we had called Saturday morning. So if she could have scheduled it for that same day, why didn't she do it? She waited till Monday to inseminate. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to my rant.